How are you guys doing? Today is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Monday, August 23rd, and of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Of course, starting with the MLB because that's the only active league that's going on in the States. Starting in Boston, the Boston Red Sox were able to beat the Texas Rangers 8-4. This game was 3-1 in Boston's favor going into the ninth inning. The Rangers would end up putting up 2 runs in the top of the ninth off of a ground rule double from Andy Ibanez to tie up the game. In the top of the 10th, Nate Lowe would put the Rangers up 4-3. In the bottom of the 10th, the Red Sox would even it up with a double from their all-star Rafa Devers. And it would be a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 11th to win this game by 4 for the Boston Red Sox in Fenway. For the Rangers in this matchup, the start was given to Colby Allard. Colby Allard allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The loss was given to the Rangers closer for the day, Dennis Santana. Santana would go on to allow 5 runs in the 10th inning that he pitched, and he would strike out a batter while pitching as well, because he pitched the 10th and the 11th inning, so he only pitched 1 full inning, but he did give up 5 runs. So it's the second blown save of the season, and he's now 2-3. In the Rangers batting lineup, their first baseman, Nate Lowe, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their left fielder in this matchup, Jason Martin, would end up going 2 for 5 with a run, and their designated hitter, Andy Ibanez, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. For the Boston Red Sox, the start was given to Nate Eovaldi. He allowed 1 run off of 4 hits and 7 innings pitched, as he struck out 7 in the first 7 innings of the game. The win was given to the Red Sox closer, Garrett Whitlock. He would pitch 2.2 innings as he allowed 1 run, as he would go on to finish out the 9th, 10th, and 11th innings. He would strike out 4 batters on the day, and with this win, he's now 5-2 on the year. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their all-star third baseman, Rafael Devers, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Devers would, like I said, he'd have a pretty good game for himself. Their center fielder, Alex Verdugo, will go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs, as Verdugo would hit his 12th home run of the season. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 71-55. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've won 5 of their last 10 games as they currently trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 6.5 games in the division. And they are currently sitting with the 2nd wild card spot in the American League, sitting 2.5 games behind the New York Yankees at the moment, and sitting 1 game ahead of the Oakland Athletics, who are, as of right now, the first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 43-81. That is the worst record in the American League West. They've lost 7 of their last 10, and they now trail the Houston Astros by 29.5 games in the division. With this, that's just where the Texas Rangers are, just to give a sense of where they are, as they have the 2nd worst record in the American League as a whole. Jumping out to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks. This was a matchup between the 2 teams holding the worst record in the National League. In this matchup, the Pirates would beat the Diamondbacks 6-5 after coming back and tying it up in the 7th inning by putting up 3 runs. And then it would be a ground out from Brian Hayes that would put the Pirates up and give them their 45th win this season. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start was given to Humberto Mejia. Mejia allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The loss was given to the Diamondbacks setup relief pitcher, Noe Ramirez. He allowed 1 earned run in .1 inning pitched. He would go on to strike out 1 batter as he started out the 8th inning. In the Arizona Diamondbacks batting lineup, their center fielder, Ketel Marte, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He was the only player in the Arizona Diamondbacks lineup with more than 1 hit. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start was given to Will Crowe. He allowed 5 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win was given to the Pirates setup relief pitcher Anthony Banda. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out all 3 of the batters he faced in the 8th inning. The save would end up going to the next pitcher for Pittsburgh, David Bednar. He would pitch the entire 9th inning, striking out a batter and allowing no hits, no runs as he picked up his second save of the season. In the Pirates batting lineup, their first baseman Colin Moran went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run, and then their catcher Jacob Stallings went 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 45-80. That is the worst record in the National League Central, and that is the second worst record in the National League, as they are the second team in the National League and the 4th team in all of baseball to cross the 80-loss threshold. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 31 games in the division, even though just to give a sense of where they are. And with this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 42-84. That is the worst record in the National League West, the worst record in the worst record in the National League. It is not the worst record in all of baseball, but it is the second worst. They have now lost 4 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 39 games, just to give a sense of what the gap is between the best and worst teams in the National League. Jumping out to Toronto, the Blue Jays hosted the Chicago White Sox as the Blue Jays are still fighting for playoff positioning. The score was tied at 1 going into the bottom of the 8th. It would be a wild pitch from Craig Kimbrell that would eventually bring Breivik Valera home to give the Blue Jays their 65th win of the year. For the Chicago White Sox, the start was given to Lance Lynn. Lynn allowed 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched as he only allowed 4 hits. He struck out 4 batters on the day, and the loss would go to their only relief pitcher on the day. Their elite closer, Craig Kimbrell, allowed 1 run in the 8th inning as he struck out 2. With this loss, he's now 2-4 on the season. And in the White Sox batting lineup, the only player with a multi-hit game was their third baseman, Yoan Moncada. He went 2 for 4 with a run on the day. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, the start was given to Alek Manoah. He allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits and 6 innings pitched, and he struck out 5 on the day. The win was given to the Blue Jays' second relief pitcher, Tim Maiza. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitches. He struck out 2. With this win, he's 3-1 on the year. And with this save, the save would go to Jordan Romano. Romano allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2. He picked up his 12th save of the year. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Reese McGuire. Reese McGuire would end up going 2 for 3 on the day. And of course, with this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 65-58. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've won 3 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 11 games in the division. And at the moment, they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 4.5 games for the second American League wildcard spot. The Blue Jays are the 3rd team on the outside looking in as they trail the Oakland Athletics and the Seattle Mariners as well. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are now 72-54. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They still sit 9 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in their division. And in the American League playoff picture, they are holding on to the 3 seed, trailing the Houston Astros out west, and they are trailing the first-place Tampa Bay Rays out east, just to give a sense of where the White Sox are right now. Jumping out to Atlanta, the Atlanta Braves win streak would come to an end as the New York Yankees win streak would continue on. The Yankees and the Braves both coming into this matchup with 9-game win streaks would see the Yankees beat the Braves 5-1. The score was tied at 1 after the second inning. The Yankees would break the tie in the 6th inning off of a 2-run double from Giancarlo Stanton, and then a 2-run single from Gary Sanchez in the top of the 8th would give the Yankees the 4-run win that they needed to give them a 10-win streak for the season at the moment. With this loss, or for the Atlanta Braves first, the start in the loss went to Huascar Ynoa. Ynoa allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this loss, Huascar Ynoa is 4-3 on the season for Atlanta. In the Braves batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit, but their shortstop Dansby Swanson went 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 25th home run of the season. For the New York Yankees, the start in the win went to Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Montgomery is 5-5 on the season. And in the Yankees batting lineup, there's elite center fielder Aaron Judge went 2-for-4 with a run on the day. Their elite right fielder Giancarlo Stanton went 2-for-3 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 21st home run of the season. And with this win, the New York Yankees are now 73-52. That is the second best record in the American League East as they've won their last 10 games. That is the best winning streak in all of baseball at the moment. They currently trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 4 games in the division, and they are now holding on to the top American League wildcard spot, sitting 2.5 games ahead of the second place Boston Red Sox at the moment. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are now 68-57. That is the best record in the National League East. They've only lost 1 of their last 10 games as that loss just ended their 9-game win streak. They sit 4.5 games ahead of the second place Philadelphia Phillies in the division at the moment, and they are still holding on to the 3rd seed in the National League playoff picture, trailing the San Francisco Giants out west and trailing the Milwaukee Brewers who currently have a hold over the Central Division. Jumping out to Wrigley, speaking of the Central Division, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Colorado Rockies, and the Cubs would pull off a 6-4 win to come from behind and beat the Rockies. They came into the bottom of the 8th trailing 4-1. They would tie it up at 4 off of 3's individual scoring plays, and then at the bottom of the 9th, it would be a walk-off 2-run home run from Rafael Ortega to give the Cubs their 55th win of the season. For Colorado, the start was given to Antonio Senzatella. Senzatella allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss was given to the Rockies closer for the day, Daniel Bard. Bard allowed 2 earned runs in .1 inning pitch as he started out the 9th and did not finish it. His only out was a strikeout. With this loss, Daniel Bard is 7-6 on the season. In the Rockies batting lineup, their left fielder Connor Joe went 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run. And then their first baseman CJ Cron went 3-for-4 with a run on the day. For the Chicago Cubs, the start was given to Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks allowed 4 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The win was given to the Cubs closer on the day, Manuel Rodriguez. Rodriguez allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 1 batter, and with this win, he's now 2-2 on the year. In the Cubs batting lineup, their left fielder, Ian Happ, would end up going 3-for-3 with a run on the day. He was the only player for the Cubs with more than 1 hit on the day. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 55-72. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've won 3 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 22 games in the division. And with this loss, the Colorado Rockies are now 57-68. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They currently trail the San Francisco Giants by 23.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Houston, the Houston Astros hosted the Kansas City Royals, and the Royals would end up beating the Astros 7-1. As they were able to score their second run in the 3rd inning before the Astros scored their first, and they were just able to run away with it. They held the Astros to 7 hits all game. For the Astros, the start and the loss was given to Zach Greinke. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, Zach Greinke is now 11-4 on the season. And in the Astros batting lineup, their first baseman Yuli Gurriel went 3-for-3 with an RBI, the only RBI of the day for Houston. And for the Kansas City Royals, the start and the win were given to Daniel Lynch. Lynch allowed 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, Daniel Lynch is 4-3 on the season. In the Royals batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Whit Merrifield, went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. One of his hits would end up being his 3rd triple of the season. Their elite catcher, Salvador Perez, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 33rd home run of the season. And then the Kansas City Royals third baseman for the day, Emmanuel Rivera, would end up going 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 56-68. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central as they've won their last 4 games and they've won 7 of their last 10. They trail the Chicago White Sox by 15 games in the division at the moment. And with this loss, the Houston Astros are now 73-52. That is the best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They still sit 3.5 games ahead of the second place Oakland Athletics within that division. And in the American League playoff picture, they are holding on to the 2nd seed, sitting behind the Tampa Bay Rays leading out in the American League East, and they are sitting ahead of the Chicago White Sox, who are currently controlling the Central. Jumping out to Oakland, last but not least, the Athletics hosted the Seattle Mariners, and in this matchup between 2 teams fighting for that 2nd spot in the American League West, the Mariners would end up beating the Athletics 5-3 as they would come into the top of the 9th, trailing 3-2. It would be a solo home run from Ty France to tie the game, and it would be a 2-run single from Jake Bauers to give the Mariners their 68th win of the season. For the A's, the start was given to their starting pitcher for the day, Paul Blackburn. Blackburn would allow 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in 6 innings, or he allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5 on the day. The loss was given to the A's setup relief pitcher Lou Trevino. Lou Trevino would allow 3 earned runs in .2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. Those were both of his 2 outs as he started out the 9th inning. He would pick up his 4th blown save of the season, and with this loss, Lou Trevino is 5-6 on the season for Oakland. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Matt Olson, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Olson would hit his 32nd home run of the season. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. For the Seattle Mariners, the start was given to Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez allowed 3 earned runs off of 5 hits and 6 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win was given to the Mariners' second relief pitcher, Anthony Misowicz. He would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he would pitch the entire 8th inning. With this win, he's now 4-4 on the season. And then the save was given to Paul Sewald. Sewald would allow no earned runs and strike out 1 batter in the entire 9th inning. He would pick up his 7th save of the season. And in the Mariners batting lineup, their second baseman, Abraham Toro, would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI. Additionally, their right fielder, Jake Bauers, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are now 68-58. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Houston Astros by 5.5 games in the division, and they trail the Boston Red Sox by 3 games for that 2nd wildcard spot. They are the 2nd team on the outside looking in as they only trail the Oakland Athletics. And with this win, and with this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 70-56. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West as they've lost their last 3 games and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Houston Astros by 3.5 games in the division, and they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 1 game for that 2nd American League wildcard spot. Just to get a sense of where the Athletics are, they are the first team on the outside looking in. Looking forward to what's going on today, especially in the world of baseball, starting from the very top. At 3:37, Cole Irvin and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Chris Flexen and the Seattle Mariners. Flexen enters this matchup with a 10-5 record, holding a 3.65 ERA. Cole Irvin enters this matchup with a 9-11 record, holding a 3.57 ERA. At 7:05, Spencer Watkins and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Dylan Bundy and the Los Angeles Angels. At 7:05, JT Brubaker and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Madison Bumgarner and the Arizona Diamondbacks. At 7:05, Ranger Suarez and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to host Drew Rasmussen and the Tampa Bay Rays. Ranger Suarez enters his matchup with a 5-4 record, holding a 1.47 ERA at the moment. At 7:07, Jose Barrios and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Dylan Cease and the Chicago White Sox. Jose Barrios enters his matchup with an 8-6 record, holding a 3.52 ERA. At 7:10 on ESPN Plus, Tanner Houck and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Griffin Jax and the Minnesota Twins. Also, at the same time, at 7:20, Tyler McGill and the New York Mets are going to host Sammy Long and the San Francisco Giants, who currently hold the MLB's best record. They're the only team that has won 80 games this season. At the same time, at 7:10, Eli Morgan and the Cleveland Indians are going to host Taylor Hearn and the Texas Rangers. At the same time, at 7:10, Jesus Luzardo and the Miami Marlins are going to host Eric Fetty and the Washington Nationals. At 7:20, Charlie Morton and the Atlanta Braves are going to host Andrew Heaney and the New York Yankees. Charlie Morton holds on to a 12-4 record and a 3.47 ERA, and the Yankees are holding on to the best winning streak in all of baseball. They have won their last 10 games. At 7:45, Jack Flaherty and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host Casey Mize and the Detroit Tigers. Casey Mize enters his matchup holding a 6-6 record and a 3.69 ERA. Jack Flaherty is 9-1, holding a 2.68 ERA on the year. At 8:05, Justin Steele and the Chicago Cubs are going to host German Marquez and the Colorado Rockies. Marquez enters his matchup with an 11-9 record, holding a 3.80 ERA. At 8:10, Corbin Burns, the all-star starting pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, is going to host Tyler Mahle and the Cincinnati Reds. Mahle enters his matchup with a 10-4 record, holding a 3.78 ERA. Corbin Burns enters his matchup with an 8-4 record, holding a 2.13 ERA. At the same time, at 8:10, Luis Garcia and the Houston Astros are going to host Brady Singer and the Kansas City Royals. Luis Garcia enters his matchup holding a 9-6 record and a 3.39 ERA. Last but not least, at 10 o'clock, the San Diego Padres, who are still fighting for that second National League wildcard spot, are going to host the reigning World Series champs LA Dodgers, led by Julio Urias, who enters his matchup with a 13-3 record, holding a 3.29 ERA. That game is going to be on ESPN, so that's roughly everything that's going on with baseball. Looking at what's going on with soccer from yesterday, it really was finishing off some of the weekend matches for some of the other leagues. Like, for instance, West Ham was able to beat Leicester City. Sevilla was able to beat Getafe. AC Milan was able to beat Sampdoria. As that was really only the really big game, as AC Milan is one of 8 teams that have won their first game of the Serie A season. So, of course, great start to the season for them. And then looking forward to today. Today is Tuesday, so it's going to be a lot of Champions League qualifying. And, of course, this will be the beginning of the Carabao Cup, as some teams in England are fighting it out to see who's going to make it to the very next round. So that is what's going on with soccer. And as the days continue on, I will navigate you through them one by one. At first, I want to thank the MLB website, the ESPN websites, and FIFA for giving me the facts and figures that I needed in order to do this episode. And, of course, ESPN. I want to thank everybody for listening in. I want to, of course, apologize for any names that I butcher, because I hope to eventually get them right. I want to thank everyone for the patience, because, of course, it's taken some time to catch up with everything from over the summer. But with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to my piece. I hope all is well. And once all of today's matchups are done, I will come back tomorrow on Wednesday, August 25th for another episode of The Elite. So until then, thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.